Hey guys, GameBoy3800 here once again, and this here is my computer build. I bet you're wondering why it's on the side, and that's because I'm doing a case swap. I'm transferring over to a Thermaltake Urban S31. I'm doing this because the system inside of here is going to be sold, and I'm going to be throwing in the X99 system soon. So, let's start taking things apart. Side panel's off, screws in a safe place. That's the side panel fan. I'm going to leave all the fans and stuff still connected to the case because I'm going to be reusing this case for obviously the next build. The hardest things to get unplugged will be the CPU block from the water cooler and the CPU power connection pins, because they go up and are a very tight fit. GTX 760 is out. Next is the auxiliary power going to the PCI brackets. I had that because I had two NVIDIA cards in here at one point. One of them is left because it's going to be in another system. Next thing to come off is the system fan and the RAM modules. There's one. Two. Three. And four RAM modules. These are Corsair Vengeance 2666 MHz DDR3. Some of the fastest DDR3 you can get, but of course DDR4 now goes up to 3300, and in the future it's predicted to go up to 4233 megahertz, or some other insane number like that. Disconnecting the front ports, like audio, power, and USB. I'm going to leave the speaker in there because an old retro speaker like that is pretty cool. Next, I'm going to be taking out the CPU block, which you probably can't see, but you probably couldn't see me taking out the memory cards either, but I will show you it's disconnected after I get it done. CPU block is off and disconnected. I need to find a better place to put the CPU block for now. That should be okay. I'm going to leave the Core i7-4790K in there so that it can protect the CPU pins that are underneath it. Because once they die, the whole board dies. Okay, I need to take out the cooler, I think. Watch, I can fit a screwdriver behind those clips. There we go. There's the power supply for the CPU unhooked. I believe I'm now ready to start taking out the motherboard. I need to find a good surface to put it on so it doesn't get too scratched up. And almost just like that, I've made one. And now I have a longer screwdriver so that it will be easier for me to reach around in these tight corners up here. Okay, it's now time to take out the motherboard. Everything should be unscrewed and good to go. It's very bad to have it rub up against the bottom standoffs, because that can scratch the board, and if it gets scratched in the wrong place, it could make it short and make the motherboard not boot at all, and it'd be dead. That's something I just learned the hard way. And last but not least, the 24-pin power cable. All main power connections are disconnected. Now, lift up. Here we go. I will clean off the 4790K processor, and this bracket shall no longer be used because I'm not going to be using that cooler, liquid cooler on this. I'm going to be using a big Noctua heatsink cooler. Which again has really good performance. Well, I shouldn't say again, I never mentioned it, whatever. I'm going to have to get these little bits off. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Motherboard is now up on a non-conductive cardboard box, so it's safe. With everything out that needs to be out, power supply, cables, and everything else out, it should be good to go. However, I have lied, and there is one thing I missed. There's a fan for the memory. Now I'm going to have to just turn it over and disassemble it. Well, unplug it. And you can see my amazingly horrible cable management. Or maybe not, because this is a really good angle to get it at. Alrighty, now which fan connection is it? Here it is. Yay. Now with finally everything out, it's time to get this back together and get to work in the other case. That shouldn't take too much longer, so I'll see you in a minute. Alrighty, it's now time for part 2, and here you can see the case in the box. Now from this point forward, it's going to be a blog style video, so I'll get this out of the box, show you around the case, and then I'll get to installing the motherboard and then each of its components. So, here we go. Okay, this here's a new case. It doesn't look like much, but that's because it isn't. I wanted to go for a very minimalistic feel with this one, and that's the way it comes out. I shall leave the front tape on so that when the customer gets it, he'll have the joy of peeling it off. I am aware that this version of the case does have a windowed version, but, you know, that's the way things go. There is less noise dampening foam on the non-windowed version. That's very nice. And noise dampening foam on the other side as well. Also in here is a drive caddy for both 2.5 and 3.5 inch drives. This is so that if you take out all the hard drive cages for a front radiator, you can still use a hard drive in one of the 5.25 inch bays. That's very nice of them. Also, the screws and other tie downs are in here. And it's in a resealable bag, so yeah. This is not going to be a full review of this case, but I'm just telling you what you get. Screws, you have little rubber grommets for hard drives so that, you know, you don't hear vibrations. Even though you probably won't end up hearing them because these are all plastic and no metal. But I guess you get the picture. This front top drive cage can be removed by taking out these two thumb screws and just being taken out by squeezing down these clips. I will take off the other side panel and we shall begin rebuilding. See you in a second. Okay, the motherboard's cleaned off, CPU's cleaned off, everything's ready to be put back in. Almost. I forgot to take out the I/O shield, yay! Okay, this time I have the I/O shield. Wow, messed up big time there. Alright, by the way, if you're looking for a tutorial of how to build a computer, this is not it. I'm just telling you that now. This screw doesn't want to come out. That one came out though. We're just taking out the PCI brackets so that we don't have to deal with them later. There we go. I was wondering why it was not working there. Those shall go into the use later pile. I need to tuck these cables away for now. This fan cable can go around outside for now. Because this is such a dark chassis inside, I'm going to move the light over to inside. And it's also dark because it's quite dark outside. It's nighttime. Alright, now I'm going to take one of our screws and screw in the center screw, because that will hold the rest of the system together while we get the other screws in place. I shall skip ahead until it is screwed in so you don't get bored. Alright, I've gotten it in and brought the case a little bit closer. Now I'm going to install the memory, since that's the next easiest thing to do. You still can't see that even though it's closer, but who cares at this point? It's just memory cards being installed. And like I said, if you're looking for a video that shows you how to build a computer, this is not the one. Just a simple case swap. Memory card fan is next. You really don't need the fan, but for this high clock speed memory, you might want it, just in case. And also get all the accessories in before you have a completely built system in your case. That goes to the fan header, and memory is installed. You can actually see that, yay! Next will be the EVGA GTX 760, and I'm actually going to need to remove the memory card fans for this, because it needs a little bit of extra space. It doesn't look like it's all in there. But it says it is, so... I'm going to screw in the video card so it won't go anywhere. It seems like the case should go a little bit farther. Either that or the motherboard should go a little bit farther. I don't know. I know if I force anything, it's really, really bad. So let's try a different video card. Maybe it's just a card. Maybe it's just a card, Let's try a 8800 GTS. That fits better, but it's still not a perfect fit. Let's try one GTX 275. Oh wow, that takes up almost a whole case. And that one fits the best. But I don't want to use the GTX 275, it's old. We'll see if I can make the 760 superclocked go in better. I don't know why it's not fitting all. It goes into the motherboard just fine. So I don't know why it makes the case do what it does, or what it doesn't. Let's not have it all the way in, and then screw it in. Screw it in some. Right now it's in, but I really don't like how it did that. Should I file a complaint or just not worry about it? I'm going to go with just not worry about it. Fan goes back in place on the memory. Good to go. And now, the last piece of this puzzle is the heatsink. I'm using a stock Intel heatsink just to get it started and tested. Well, I've got to remove the fan again, or just push it. All pinch in place. Feels secure, although we will see how good it is after we look around the back and see how well we did. And put away all the extra video cards I took out, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're behind, and all the little black nubs of the Intel stock cooler are in place. That is a long fan connector. I'm going to do some proper routing because, like usual, all front panel connectors should be going at the bottom to make the least amount of, well, to take up the least amount of space as possible. That includes front power connections, USB, and sound. Glad to see they're finally getting rid of old AC97 audio. Now it's just HD audio. This is Molex powered. That's probably for the top bay dock, because this has a hot swap bay for hard drives at the top, which is really cool. Giving it a flip turnaround, quick turnaround, flip turnaround, whatever. Pointing the light back down. I can now get to connecting other things like this top front fan, USB, and all the power connections. So I will be right back when I get that done. Alright, everything is plugged up and ready to go. I just need to install this 550 watt power supply and we should be good. There's one thing I'm hoping, and that is that both of these CPU headers give a good amount of power so they can handle up to 5 gigahertz. So, I guess we'll find out. I'll see you once it's all connected and routed. Okay, here we are. It's all put together. The only thing that's missing is a hard drive. But that will go in as soon as I get another hard drive all set up to go, which can be done off screen. I've done the wiring as best as I could. As you can see, there's no big rat's nest of wires anywhere to be seen. It's all hidden behind the back panel. Although for the back panel, I had to do the tradition of standing on the computer in order to get it to close. But it closed, so that's a good thing. And it's already got a little bit of a bulge to it, you know, to have room for cables, so it's not going to bend. I had to end up using the Thermaltake power supply, which is a 80 plus bronze power supply, so it's pretty efficient. I had to use it because the other one, the 4-pin CPU power connector would reach, but the 8-pin one would not. So yeah. Hopefully this can handle a light overclock like 4.5 or 4.6 gigahertz. And then, as soon as the Noctua heatsink comes in, I'll install it. However, I might need to move this over to the right some. I can adjust it like that, or I can adjust the brackets that hold it on. And then I might also need to move the GTX 760 down one slot. But it'll still work all just fine. So, I'm going to close up this other side panel, and we will do a boot test to see if it powers on still. In which it should still power on just fine. But if something happened like a scratched motherboard, like that fail video I posted not too long ago, then there will be a major issue. However, I didn't feel myself scratching the board or slipping the board up at all, so I believe it's safe to go. I also put in a second front intake fan to give it better airflow. I will give it at least one more top exhaust, depending on how big the heatsink is. I might be able to do one just up in this corner, or if it'll fit, I'll do both. One here and one here. He opted for air cooling because he didn't want to pump to end up failing, because the pump is just another point of failure on a computer system. But yeah, I'll get this all hooked up and do a power on test, so I'll see you then. Okay, I am here with the computer. It's all set up. It looks really nice in this corner. It's not as tall as the other one, but you know, it's still a nice size. Power button is up top. So, power on. Yay, it beeped. Yay, it posted. And we're good to go. I should probably turn down the the fan for the RAM fan. There we go. That's memory. If I have them all on normal, oh yeah, I have a mouse. I only have a few minutes of battery life left, so I'll just see if I can get this one thing running. Then I'm gonna have to shut it off. But other than that, this was a brilliant success. Good case swap. Alright, yeah, there's no thing. No hard drive. As for this, not entirely sure why it's not going into a quieter operation, but PWM control should fix all that. Yep. Memory is good to go. And power off. Alright, works good. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Gameway out. See you next time.